These days, with the ever-growing popularity of mixed martial arts, stars such as Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey are becoming household names across the world. But for those in the know, it's the name Gracie that many consider synonymous with the beginnings of modern MMA. Gracie is the name of a family from Brazil, famous for their impact on the evolution of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu. Joining us today for Touch Base in Seoul is a practitioner of this particular martial art and the very first South Korean to achieve the rank of black belt in Gracie Jiu-jitsu. We welcome Mr. Jason Park to the studio. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you do and where you're based now?
So I started Jiu-jitsu maybe about 13 years ago. I learned directly from the Gracies, specifically Hiro and Hannah Gracie. So they are the grandsons of the man who actually created the art. And today I run a school in Korea. It's in Gangnam, and we have hundreds of students. And my job basically is to teach, to keep spreading the art, keep spreading the art, teaching people the art. I think it's already been proven that it's an effective form of self-defense. Now for me, it's to spread the art and to make sure it stays in its purest form.
So tell us a bit more about Gracie Jiu-jitsu. How is that different from other Jiu-jitsu, and how does that differentiate from Brazilian Jiu-jitsu?
So the differentiation, the reason why we call it Gracie Jiu-jitsu is because it's like with any other martial art. It starts off as a form of self-defense, it's a form of combat, and then we call it the martial curse.
Okay.
So every art becomes a sport. For example, we take, say, judo. Judo started off as a form of self-defense, as a form of combat, but now in the Olympics, it's very specific, right? So one, you have to wear a gi, a kimono, and the goal is to throw somebody, take them down, pin them down for maybe a couple seconds, and then it's over.
Right, and score points.
Right, so it's based on points. And jiu-jitsu has followed the same trajectory as well. And in competition, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, basically striking is eliminated. And there's time limits, there's weight classes, there's points. So in that kind of environment, if we move in that kind of environment, it's very different from a real street fight, where the opponent 99% of the time is just going to try and punch you,
right,
or kick you, and maybe headlock you. So my goal is to teach students the reality of a street fight so that they can prepare for the worst case scenarios that would most likely happen to them.
So that's the philosophy of Gracie Jiu-jitsu. It's about practical use of a martial art rather than doing it for sport.
Right, right. And there are students who decide to venture off into the sportive realm, but there's an order to it, right? Priorities first.
So how did you come across it? You said you started 13 years ago. Were you involved in some sort of martial arts before that?
No. So I was just very interested in sports in general. And so I knew about the Gracies. I knew about jiu-jitsu from middle school. I never tried it. One day I just decided to do it. I don't know.
One day.
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I don't know what it was. I just decided to do it. And
I understand you were in New York at the time. You
Yes.
were studying at university.
yes, so I was in New York at New York University. I started jiu-jitsu there. My first month, I started sparring. I dislocated my shoulder.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah. And it took me about a month to recover. So during that time, I started searching the internet and I found what's called gracieuniversity.com. And so that's a website developed by Hiro and Hannah Gracie, the head instructors of Gracie University in California. And after watching that, I realized what it is that I really wanted to do, the jiu-jitsu that I really wanted to learn. And I learned that I wanted to learn from them. So that's when I decided, you know what, this is the path that I want to go down.
But back then it was more of a hobby. Right?
Yes, it was more of a hobby.
But then how do you go from practicing jiu-jitsu as a hobby then to become a full-time teacher? I understand you quit your job to start this training center here in Seoul as well.
So for me, during college, I basically learned, it all came down to one thing. And it's that if you're going to do something in life, you have to love and enjoy it. But at the same time, you also have to have a purpose of helping other people. So passion and service have to come together, which creates synergy, and in my opinion is what creates success, however you define it. And so when I discovered Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, I realized that it's not just about, I mean, the techniques are great, the art is amazing, it's amazingly fun, but it's also about helping people. So we're not in the jiu-jitsu industry teaching jiu-jitsu. We're in the people industry helping people, and we just happen to be very good at jiu-jitsu. So it was that direction that kind of kick-started my, I guess, career in jiu-jitsu.
Right, so it's not just about teaching people who are interested in jiu-jitsu, but it's about reaching out to as many people as you can to teach them about self-defense and martial arts then.
Right.
So our staff editor, Mark Wilson-Chair, he's a big fan of MMA, and he was very excited about you coming in today. He was telling us about that achieving the rank of black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is an incredible feat in itself, as each rank is not just about a handout for putting in your time and practicing every day, but also it's given after serious consideration about everything that you do, I understand. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yes. So it took me maybe about 10 years to go from white to black belt. It didn't really feel that long because like I said before, it wasn't about me being the best jiu-jitsu practitioner or the best fighter that I could be. It was always about who can I help with what I know. And yeah, I mean, it didn't really feel that long, but the reason why...
Difficult?
Oh yeah, of course. It's very difficult. And the reason why it's because jiu-jitsu itself, I mean, we have 2 hands, we have 2 legs, we have a head. We're entangled. There's so many things that can happen. There are over 1,000 techniques that you have to learn. And then you have to put it all together in sparring matches that you do pretty much every day against people of all sizes and strengths. So I think because of that, especially the sparring element, it takes so long because you have to be able to do all those techniques in a live situation. When people are attacking you, there could be strikes, there could be no strikes. So that's why it takes so long.
So if you can't spar, you can't go up the ladder then for the belts?
I wouldn't say that you can't go up, but I would say it is effective because you get to feel what a real worst case scenario is like. So that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu, is that the bottom line assumption is that you are in a worst case scenario. The guy's a lot bigger, stronger, more athletic than you are. You may be in a terrible position and you still have to somehow find a way to survive and maybe even defeat this person. So to be able to experience that and overcome that, it opens up a lot of avenues in life, and it's a life-changing kind of perspective that it gives you.
Briefly, I have to ask this question on behalf of Mark, but have you ever had the honor to roll with one of the greats, a member of the Gracie family, and what was that like?
Oh yeah, so I learned directly from Hiron and Henry Gracie. So they are the grandsons of Grandmaster Helio Gracie, also the sons of Horion Gracie, Grandmaster Horion Gracie, who also created the UFC. So yeah, I mean, basically they're like my big brothers, like really big brothers. They're 6'4" tall. So yeah.
And how tall are you?
I'm about 5'10".
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so quite a bit shorter than the Gracies.
Oh yeah.
But how is it like when you fight with them?
It's not as crazy as people would think. It's very cooperative. Obviously, I learned a lot from them. They are big, but they're also the most talented, skillful practitioners I've ever rolled with. So, yeah, I'm just very thankful that I met the right people. They're the best instructors. They're also my role models, the best people that I know. And so from an early age, I was able to, have a guideline growing up as a teenager.
So you started the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu's whole training center in 2014,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
How has Gracie Jiu-Jitsu been received here in South Korea?
I think it was Jiu-Jitsu already had arrived in Korea when I was here, but it was practiced more as a form of sport. So Jiu-Jitsu competition, fighting somebody else who knows Jiu-Jitsu and someone who isn't going to hit you or strike you. When I first came here, I think it was very new. It was very new. People, there were some people, a very small group of people who knew about it, but it was on me to spread the message and I think people took it on well. Like people were searching for it. Some people didn't really know what it was that was missing. But, once the message got out, people knew.
In addition to running the training center, I understand you help teach self-defense to people as well, to women who are looking to protect themselves against sexual assault or children against bullying at school. Is that in your center or is that somewhere else, or how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, so that is my everyday. So we have programs geared towards adults in general. We also have, so our kids program is specifically geared towards anti-bullying. It's called Gracie Bully Proof. And we have a women-empowered, women's-only course, which is a sexual assault, anti-sexual assault program. So basically, I interact with kids, women, men, people of all ages every day, teaching this message. But, the louder my voice, the more people I can help. So, I do go out on lectures, seminars, to reach out to more people.
So it's not just about actually being in the training center, but you're actually doing seminars and talking to people.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we go on seminars, make YouTube videos, whatever we can to help spread the message, because I truly believe that to fix any kind of social problem, we have to have true confidence and self-esteem. Because, for example, with children, when it comes to bullying, parents know what the solution is. It's for their child to tell the bully to stop using words. The problem is they have trouble doing that because of the fear, the underlying fear that if they say that, they're going to get punched in the face, they might be ridiculed, they might be teased. So through jiu-jitsu, they can learn and feel worst case scenarios and overcome that. And once they feel that, being bullied doesn't feel that bad at all. And then the words come out naturally. And that applies to any social problem.
Sure, but I'm guessing you would teach them not to use violence as well at the same time, right?
Oh, yes.
But have that confidence to know that you can protect yourself, but not to be the aggressor. How effective are these kinds of lessons? Because obviously, if you're a learned practitioner, you might be able to use these skills to fend off any kind of dangers, but I understand most people, they freeze. They forget what they've learned in times of panic. Have you had stories of maybe your students being able to use the skills that they've learned to actually defend themselves in difficult situations?
I think the most dangerous people are the people who don't know how to defend themselves, because it's either nothing or it's go crazy. Because in a situation where something could happen, it only takes one spark for a full-on fight to occur. But through jiu-jitsu, if you learn the whole process of fighting, of self-defense, and every day you feel, you have to spar with people, you feel the whole process. It's like all the shades, all the color shades, you get to feel it all. So when an argument happens or disagreement happens or someone says something out on the streets, you're able to assess that situation. And, because you have that confidence that, if I did get into an altercation with this person, at least I would not lose. I have this confidence.
Sure.
Then you're able to kind of objectively assess the situation, walk away, use your words.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Very briefly, what are your plans for the future? And what message perhaps do you have for our listeners before we go?
For me, I think the ultimate message is jiu-jitsu, it's already been proven that it's an effective form of self-defense. But I also want to spread it. I feel like my job is to spread it as a form of philosophy, that through jiu-jitsu, we can help the world, that we can help people. And so the louder my voice, the better. And I'm very honored to be here. And so that more people can learn about it.
We'll have to wrap it up there. Thank you for sharing your story with us today. We've been speaking to Jason Park, the first Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt in South Korea and the head of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu training center here in Seoul. It was a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you.